What's up, guys? It's me from the future. Just here to let you know that we have finally set up a P.O. box for fan mail and whatever else you guys want to send to us. All of the information is down below in the description. Feel free to check it out. If you guys have stuff you want to send in, make sure to include some kind of note with an Instagram handle or something like that so we can definitely give you guys a shout out on the videos. We'll do some kind of mail opening thing once a week or whenever we get mail in to see what you guys sent in and give you guys a shout out. So stuff is down in the description below. I hope you guys enjoy the video. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping in again. My name is Alex from the Spooling Up Performance YouTube channel, and behind me we have our 2010 Mazdaspeed 3. As you know, this car is fully built, has all the works. Today's episode is going to be strictly based around secondary fueling. That's right, port injection, and what parts we've used, what you need to do to make the setup work, how we have it. I have a lot of people constantly messaging us on, the fuel system and how we have it hooked up and what parts to use and stuff like that. So today we're going to go through a run through of everything we have fuel system wise in this car so that you guys can get a really good idea of what parts you'll actually need and what parts to buy and where to buy them. I'll have everything linked down below in the description with part numbers, all that stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to get you guys links that you can just click on to get to those parts. It's fairly simple. Doing a full port injection like this tends to be a little pricey, but it is a one and done thing that will give you all the fuel that you need to make it to your power goals. So let's get to it. Okay, so port injection, why do you need it? These cars are stocked with direct injection, and you're usually tapped out on fuel when you get to about the 370 horsepower mark. You can probably squeeze out a little bit more, but you'll definitely be over 100% duty cycle and really stressing out the stock fuel system. And that's where, a lot of people tend to start upgrading when they go bigger turbo. They either go with a water methanol kit, which is definitely doable. I'd say if your power goal range is somewhere in the 400s to 500 range, I'd say a good water methanol system with like a big single nozzle or something like that would be sufficient if that's where your power goals end. If you're shooting for a little bit more power, a little bit more reliable power, where you're not stressing systems, would be the port injection. And this is one way to do it. We have a standalone fuel cell. This is a 2-gallon fuel cell. This one was custom made, but you can get stuff just like it off of Summit Racing or Jegs. They stock fuel cells that just look like this and are around the same size that have the same setup, and I'll link those below in the description. Basically from there we have all of our AN fittings that we had to custom make, so plan on making your own AN lines. You can find videos online on how to do that, but basically how it goes is we have our tank here, which we run E85. You can run methanol depending on what your goals are and what you and your tuner work out. You can run like E85 or even 93 in here, really any kind of fuel you want. But you have your feed line coming off the bottom side of it, and it goes down into the bumper, and you have a pre-filter, a pump, post-filter, and it goes back up into the fuel rail. Now, once it hits the fuel rail, it's going to be going into your JMF. This is, a very reputable and trustworthy intake manifold that most people use. Has your 4 injectors on there. You can go with whatever size you want based on your power goals. These ones we have in here are ID 1050X injectors. That'll be plenty. We might have to upgrade to like 20 or about 2000 cc or something like that. And then as it comes to the rail, we hit a Fuel Lab fuel regulator. So this monitors your fuel pressure and allows you to adjust the fuel pressure as well to whatever your rail pressure is to be, which will be determined by your tuner and yourself. We have ours somewhere around 40, and we keep it right about there, 40, 43. From there, we have a return line just going right back up into the tank. Just basically you're recycling that fuel down into the tank, and then it's just a never-ending system. This one right here is just a vent. So we have an AN 180 on here, and it goes down and just vents, just so the tank has a vent itself. But I want to show you kind of what it looks like behind the bumper and how we have it set up. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this bumper off here and show you basically how we have everything routed so you know what to plan for when you do your setup. All right, guys, so we have the bumper off, and basically this is what I was going to show you. So the feed line coming down, it goes right to a pre-filter, which you can use different kinds. This one's a very small filter, definitely a good one. It's an Earl's Fittings, Earl's Performance pre-filter. And you can run this or like a Fuel Lab big filter. Usually the rule of thumb I would say would be good is like a 75 micron pre-filter, and that runs into your AEM 380 liter per hour fuel pump, and you have the appropriate fittings to go on there, and then the fuel pump is wired accordingly. You can wire this to a switch or constant power so that it turns on with the car, or a switch depending on what you desire. Then from there we're going to run to our post filter, which again you can use basically any filter you want that has AN receiving and output. And, you know, we use like a 10 to 6 micron on here, and that just basically, like I said, runs up to the fuel rail, and it just completes a system. Now, a lot of people ask, is this the only way you can do port injection? And the answer is no. This is just one way that we do it. A lot of people have mimicked and want to do and just want to know the setup. You can also eliminate having to do all of this, and you can run everything off of your factory tank. Now that will require a new drop-in fuel pump, maybe a dual fuel pump setup. And basically what you'd do is you'd have your port injection setup, you'd have your fuel pressure regulator on one side, and have your fuel lines basically Y into the feed of your stock fuel system, and that would basically run it from, you know, front to back, and you just basically run your secondary port injection off of the same fuel source in the back, whether it be 93, an E85 mix, or straight E85. Now, a lot of people ask, can you run straight E85? Yes, you can. You just have to be prepped and ready to have your parts be able to withstand it. It's good to have injectors and fuel lines and stuff that are rated for any alcohol-based or ethanol-based fuel. Also going through your high-pressure fuel pump, replacing stuff like that. It's going to be a lot more fuel system maintenance if you run straight E85. It's good that if you do that, to run and cycle through 93 every once in a while to clean everything out, and just so there's no, you know, corrosion or anything like that. But I digress. We are with the car unbuttoned right now, just giving you guys a look at what we do. And then from there, guys, you're going to have a split-second controller, and this is a really cool system, and I'll tell you why. So basically what a split-second controller does is it's basically a standalone system that operates the pulsing and control of your secondary fuel system, that is your PI, and that it will control the injectors up here, and it ties in and wires into the whole system. Basically what happens is your tuner will actually send you a map just like you would on your access port, and this control box comes, the top comes off, and there's a plug in there, and you plug in and you're going to load basically a fuel map into this split-second controller. And what that's going to do, the tuner is going to set that fuel map up to correlate with the tune that you have on your access port, so that that will basically turn on and pulse the injectors at certain points during your power band, RPM range, and all that stuff. There's a bunch of magic that goes into it. Justin at FREEKTUNE always has dialed ours in really fast and just knows what he's doing. But talk to your tuner on the specifics when it comes to that. But fairly easy. You wire it in and place it somewhere where you can access it to change the fuel maps in it if needed. A lot of people ask how much this costs. Now, the JMF manifold, brand new with port injection, is about $1,000. And you can go to edgeautosport.com and you can get a lot of this stuff there. And they offer great service and great prices on parts. Now, you could probably pick up your JMF intake manifold there, which comes with the intake manifold and the fuel rail. I believe you can buy injectors through them as well. they'll offer the split-second controller and maybe some fuel components that they can get their hands on for you. The Fuel Lab stuff, I just searched on the internet and found the Fuel Lab stuff and kind of ordered accordingly. I will try to place those links down below. The expensive part actually comes in with the fuel lines and fittings. If you look at pricing on fuel lines and fittings, if you're paying very, very minimal amount, chances are those fittings are very low quality and you're going to risk having some kind of leak or bleed by on the fitting itself, or have a really cheap, low-rated line that could possibly burst or corrode as time goes on. You really want to make sure you have a E85 alcohol safe line, just the appropriate fittings to go through. Now, that pretty much sums it up. I know this is a very talkative video, but you guys have requested that I do this video a bunch of times, and I have people inboxing me almost daily asking what you need to do to get a good, reliable port injection setup, and that is this. Or the other one, like I said, where you can hook up straight to your factory fuel lines and run it back to the tank with just upgraded in-tank pumps. But that's really it as far as it goes. It looks like a lot, but it's fairly easy. On this car, it's a little bit different. On the last Speed 3 build we did, I actually had everything mounted on the crash bar. Now, you get these little clamps here with the fuel pump, and I actually just mounted mine in the center and used the centering bolt on the crash bar to mount that, and then I mounted my fuel filters at either end of the crash bar, and it kind of just made for a clean look, and just run your lines accordingly and wrap them up nice. I hope you found this video informational. I will have everything linked down below for you guys. If you could, give me a big thumbs up on this video if you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. We'll have plenty more content coming with this car. We have more parts on the way, installing the watt box, all sorts of good stuff. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Drop a comment below what you guys think about this fuel system, and ask any questions that you have regarding this fuel system or a different style fuel setup down below in the comments, and I'll be glad to go down there and answer them for you guys. But until next time, we will see you later.